Okay, and we're back. We're now at discussion 6.4 on shape naming convention. We still had work to do on our diagram, and as you can see, I've accomplished some of it. For the sake of time, I'm just doing examples here, but you can see I have now several objects here in Garage 1, several shapes to correct that, of the different kinds, or 3 different kinds of master shapes. I've got 3 master shapes here. I've got some master shapes in the showroom. And so we can see now that how we add it. Now look, these objects, because the layers, the corresponding layers that these objects, shapes, reside on are not locked. I can edit them, but I cannot, because I lock these other layers, I can't touch the legend or the bounding boxes. So let's take a look. Things have changed since we last looked at the layer properties. You can see now that the Camaro layer was added, the oldie layer and the truck layer, because if you recall, I built that into the stencil set, or we did when you created yours as well. When you drag it over, it creates a corresponding layer. You can see on the truck layer we have 14 trucks. Oldie layer, we got 8 of them old pickups, and we've got 8 Camaros. Okay, and you can also see the other objects on the other layers. But these are locked still. The background layers, the bounding boxes, legend, and title, and our active layers here are where we are adding the shapes. So I added them and I arranged them, and this whole being able to drag them around without worrying about moving these bounding boxes or the title or legend is really a time saver, especially if you've worked in PowerPoint. Trying to work with everything in an active drawing page is very frustrating. Well, let's zoom in a little bit so you can see a little better what we've done here. So here in Garage 1, you can see that we've got several of these shapes. Now I want you to look at the data window, the shape data window, and look at the shape IDs. This is where I'm talking about naming convention. You notice that I'm separating it by underscore. First I put in G1, meaning Garage 1. That's telling me the location, or think of it as organization, where this vehicle resides. It's a truck, that's the master shape name, and it's the first instance within Garage 1. So if I go to the next instance, you'll see that's 02, next is 03, and so forth. That allows us to create, through this multiple or composite naming convention, it allows us to come up with unique names that we must have. As you remember, that was a requirement when you add a shape. When you drop it onto the diagram, it wants a unique value. I'll go ahead and delete that big old car. And so I did the same for Camaro G1. All I had to do was change the master shape. You see? Same for the old truck, oldie. It's really a pretty simple naming convention, but it is truly going to be very useful. Obviously, I can get up to 100 new trucks, 100 Camaros, and 100 oldies into Garage 1 if I cared to. So you imagine if your diagram's growing. Now, if you're going to go over 100, obviously you're going to have to change your naming convention and add another 0. So you can go even higher. Hopefully you wouldn't have to. This has always worked for me. And then over here the naming convention applies for the second garage, G2. So I think you have an idea of what I mean by naming conventions. Here we have showroom, because its location is showroom box. So we've accomplished what we needed to do in this tutorial. And in section 6 here, we have completed. We've looked at all these different layers, we've worked with shapes, and we've addressed the naming convention. I'll see you in the next tutorial.